You're listening to the Black Eagles podcast.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Süper var. Süper'e doğru aksiyonlar gitti. Süper topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol. Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Zuma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 151 of Beşiktaş International's The Black Eagles podcast. Coming in live from a very snowy winter wonderland of a New York City, and I suppose probably New York State at large. And to confirm that, with me today, alongside yours truly, Sinan, is the Akman, back again. Evran, how you doing, sir?
Doing alright. I'm also snowed in.
Yeah, it's official, huh?
Yeah.
I would have suspected as much. Usually you guys get it worse. I remember going to school, university up north, and the snow was pretty serious. You're not quite that far north though, right? You're still at home, having finished school. But so yeah, we've got a lot to talk about actually, and in fact, not all of it has to do with just Trabzonspor, right? There's some actual transfer news to discuss this time around. Some actually real surprising stuff, but obviously, before we get there, we'll talk about the big match that we've just experienced, if you will. It's been a couple days. We're a little late. We have another match incoming very shortly, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, we obviously have the match against Trabzon, hosting, in Vodafone Park against Trabzonspor to talk about. Evran, lead us in with. I guess, how was Trabzon looking going into this match? It's probably pretty well known that they were on a pretty good run of matches undefeated. Certainly, if you look at their last five, right? You had victories against Beşiktaş here in the Cup, the Super Cup, that is. The win against Gençler, win against Konya, draw against Antalya, and we'll have to talk about that. They beat Göztepe, Fatih Karagümrük. So, a number of kind of middling opponents, but nonetheless good results, right?
Yeah, I mean they've definitely improved since the time, earlier in the season they were close to the relegation zone. Now they're closing in on that fourth place Europa League spot. So
yeah, and so prior to our match, they were in I think sixth place, and I think I had actually declared them pretty much done and dusted. Because they were so far back on us points-wise. But, obviously still a team to be cautious with, a talented side in good form. And so what about our lineup, Evran? And if you have any notes on Trabzonspor, go ahead with that too.
yeah, I mean it was the anticipated 11. Ersin in goal, Rosier, Montero, Vida, Ridvan, which I think was our best back line after Wellington lost his spot. Joseph as the 6, Atiba, Mensah in front of him, Gezal, Abubakar, Larin, which seems to be the go-to front line. Gökhan Töre was out. Again, he hurt his ankle, so he's out for a few weeks in training. Or he got hurt from training, so he's out for a few weeks, which is highly unfortunate for us. But yeah, that's...
The glass man. This guy just can't stay healthy. I shouldn't make too much fun of the guy though, because on another note, he did just have a child. So congratulations to Gökhan.
Yeah, and he had a really good performance right before he got hurt.
Yeah, the week before for sure. Yeah, assisting on the goal to Abubakar. But for those of you who listen to us regularly, you will have already heard my little spiel on that. But so. Yeah, a pretty decent lineup. I was actually pleased to see Montero, paired with Vida. I still think that's our best back line. bit of bad luck in this match, which we'll have to talk about, but really a fairly solid game from the two of them for the most part. And that's all I'll say without spoiling. Let's dig in, I guess. You have any other notes, Evran, to talk about before
I guess
we go into it?
Real quick look at Trabzon's lineup. They spent pretty big money for Turkish League standards. They're bringing Bakasetas from Alanya.
Yeah.
He started the game on the bench, and then they dropped Lewis Baker to the bench for this game, but he ended up playing the whole game, as we'll start describing
we'll
the first
that.
minute. So,
well, I'll just dig into sort of match events, and what happened here was really unfortunate. Abdulkadir Parmak, he just sort of came up short on a run.
like 25 seconds in.
For 34th, literally, I think it was the 34th second where he sat down, and he'd be done for. He was in tears, so he was obviously suffering greatly, unfortunately for him. But prayers up for Parmak. That's what you were talking about with Lewis Baker coming in the first minute of the match. The next event was actually in the 7th minute, and Kyle Larin. Was he called off for this? But I know he had in the end, I think it was waved off, right? But he had a really good attempt on goal that Uğurcan saved brilliantly, and that would be
it wasn't called off. It was given, like the corner kick was given. The complaining part was that there was a handball from Trabzon on the build-up, and we thought we might get a free kick, but the pass went through anyway, and then Larin's shot was strong, but like too central. So
yeah, but I mean, he had a pretty good. I mean, Uğurcan did well. Especially with it being so early in the match, he was ready, eyes wide open, if you will. Made a decent save, which would be a theme, if you will. In the 11th minute, almost the 12th minute, there'd be some more bad news in the injury department. This time, it would be Rıdvan Yılmaz coming out, and it looked bad. Not tears in this sense, but also kind of pulled up lame. Fabrice Nsakala would come in. Do you have any notes on the injury, Evran?
I think they said he's going to be out for 2 weeks. I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't at first. It looked like he pulled his hamstring.
Yeah, I thought it was bad.
Sometimes those things can be like pops, and you're out for like a lot longer. But the reports were saying that it's not too serious. So obviously he won't be playing for the next couple games. But
yeah, obviously a terrible shame. Just a terrible shame. But so Nsakala would come in. In the 22nd minute, Ghezal would have a funky-looking cross, find Larin's head. This time, I think it was a much more pedestrian save from Uğurcan, but he did get him kind of going the other way, so he made it look flashy. But a decent header from Larin. And again,
I think it was the unexpected nature of the shot. I don't think it would have been difficult if Uğurcan was set, but I think he kind of
he made it hard for himself, and then he made it flashy.
Shot it, and then he skewed it way wide, and then Larin was like, "Oh, back post cross."
Yeah, this is what I do. I know what to do now. And it could have been a goal against another keeper just because he was going the other way, but I thought Larin's first shot was a little more of a challenge for Uğurcan. But anyhow, in the 28th minute, and this is where before telling, this was a surprise actually. Fabrice Nsakala up the left side with a pinpoint cross to Abu coming in towards the goal. Lovely, powerful header. Uğurcan, sorry, I'm doing your job here, Evran. Tell us what happened here. What did Uğurcan do with it?
So Uğurcan, unsurprisingly, gets a hand to it. He was definitely on top form, but he tips it onto the post, and Abubakar got a lot of power behind the header, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Sorry.
And that was 1-0.
Yeah, and it was looking good because we'd looked solid. As I've mentioned, we had 3 or 4 chances on goal. We were keeping Uğurcan on his toes, and then sure enough, put one past him, which he would have been really bummed about, you'd think, because he'd played real well. And even got a piece of that, but So yeah, there it was, 1 goal. And that would be just an interesting note here. That was Abubakar's 12th of the season, so he's now tied with Kyle Larin on 12 goals. Who knew this would be our issue here, having 2 12-goal scorers at the midway point. But anyway, a lot more to discuss. Right after the goal, another boneheaded tackle. This is a theme. Boneheaded tackle from our man Valentin Rosier. I mean, whether or not it was worthy of a card. I mean, it was worthy of a card, huh? There was some cleats in there. Pretty dirty.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen worse tackles. I don't think he didn't actually stomp on him, but he left his studs up as the guy was swinging through the ball. So after he kicked the ball, he swung through and hit the studs of Rosier. So it wasn't as bad as some other yellow cards we see, like when Arda 2-footed a guy. But it was definitely in the rules can be a yellow card because he had his studs up. So.
Yeah, I mean, I remember thinking, that was a stupid tackle, dude. But so, yeah, shortly thereafter, there would be another yellow card handed out to Ekuban. And I think this was him yelling at the ref.
Yeah, he wanted a penalty and he didn't get it.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a bad... I remember it looked like a penalty, but in fact, it was a simulation, a dive, because Nsakala's foot didn't make the
I wouldn't
contact.
say it was a dive because there was contact, but it was an extreme exaggeration of the contact. It was a slight contact on his body as Nsakala tried to kick the ball, and he was boom. He was looked
the
he
reason
didn't know what to do and just was all right, I'm down.
The reason I call it a dive is because he simulates on the contact that didn't happen. So the contact that you're talking about, it was there. There was definitely some back and forth, but the main contact, kind of quote unquote, that he falls for. Actually, if you look on the replay, Nsakala's foot misses his leg. It kind of goes right over it, and that's when he kind of heads down. So I think he just chose the wrong time to go down.
Wait,
whatever
the contact
it was
mainly just between Nsakala's hip and
exactly.
So he did swing his foot at, but he didn't actually kick him, and then just his hip went into I would guess his backside, and then he just kind of threw himself down.
Exactly. But so yeah, unfortunately, 4 minutes later, however, probably the most garbage of freaking own goals ever to have been scored occurs. I hand it to you again.
Yeah, so Nawakayeme continued his
run was nice.
Menacing form. I think it was the second time in the half where he cut in on Joseph. I think probably the only time we've seen anyone beat Joseph like that, and he did it twice. This happened
Joseph,
a couple minutes
Joseph
before
took it
this,
personal. He was pissed. You could tell after.
Nawakayeme blasted it over, but this time he goes for a lower shot and it hits Vida, who's blocking the near post, and so it's going across the box towards the sideline, and Mr. Montero sprinting back, trying to get back on defense.
Rightfully, he was doing. I mean, no one is to blame.
In case there was a rebound, he's trying to be there, but the rebound came from Vida, comes across the box, hits Montero. Ederson was on the ground because he was trying to save the initial shot, and then the ball goes squirming towards goal. From the ground, Ederson tries to lunge for it with his hand. Somehow it squirts in, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, it's just the absolute worst. Because it was such a good half from Beşiktaş, actually. Obviously the blemishes being injuries and stuff, but really, Beşiktaş pretty much controlled the half for the most part. Apart from, as you mentioned, Wakayeme kind of doing a little terrorist activity in our end. But Beşiktaş was solid. I forgot to mention in the 40th minute, Bernard Mensah had a nice dribble up to about the edge of the penalty box and then sent in a lovely shot that Urcan did really well to save. Low to his left. A lesser keeper would probably have let that one go through.
And also Trabzon had one big chance of that first half that Ederson saved. I don't remember who was through. I think it might have been Giannini because I didn't see the replay, but Ederson made a nice one-on-one save when we're up 1-0, and then all of a sudden, it kind of seemed like one of those things like, oh, that's like a game-winning save. Like, that was going to be their only chance, and then they scored off of
Garbage.
some randomness.
Garbaggio. So yeah, I think this may have been in the first half. Also, Edgar Ie, your boy, got a yellow card for just a terror garbage tackle, stopping Mensah, and it wasn't like it didn't look so bad at first, but it was one of those ones where you make knees knock and it could have caused an injury. So that was he got carded rightfully. Yeah, that was still in the first half according to this thing here, but. He did defend well besides that, I will say. But so yeah, then there it is, halftime 1-1. Just terrible because we deserved to be ahead, maybe even by more than one, considering how many nice saves I mentioned by Urjan there. And instead, because of the Garbaggio, we're tied 1-1. That's not fun. 59th minute is the next highlight to mention. Almost halfway into the 59th minute, a free kick falls onto Laren's head. Laren sends it a bit wide. Maybe it was intentionally a pass to Atiba. I don't think so, but Atiba heads it into the side post. A decent little attempt there. I don't remember who took the free kick, but it wasn't Gezal.
It was Gezal.
Was it?
That's what I remember, and that's also what my my live ticker says that I'm looking at right now. So.
I couldn't tell. But that would be right before, in the 62nd/63rd minute. I don't know where they placed it, but I guess first we should mention some subs. No, the subs all came. Yeah, that was all after. So yeah, sorry. So yeah, in the 63rd minute. Nwakaeme again. Man, this time it was pretty nasty, huh? Nwakaeme dribbled. Do you know who it was he dribbled on the touchline?
Yeah.
It was Abu, really. But it was two guys because it was Abu and someone else.
Abu was the one who was on his back, and then there was, I think it was Gezal and Abubakar were the two defending Nwakaeme, which is probably not a big
That's
brain
not ideal.
moment.
I was gonna say.
Considering Joseph and Rosier could barely handle Nwakaeme, just having, two attackers who don't really defend much against their very clearly star player.
Yeah, and he just made them look like children and just lovely square on to Victor Hugo, who smashes it in. Sorry, I did your job again.
That's fine.
Any comments there?
Yeah, it wasn't good defending from Abubakar and Gezal, but at the same time,
why would it be? Like, why are they there defending?
Yeah, I don't. It is their fault, but it's also like our players have been getting cooked left and right by this guy, and that's not really an exaggeration.
No,
he needed more attention than what he was given. So
yeah. 68th minute, Nkudu had a lovely shot low to the left, saved by this freaking guy who just couldn't give us, like, breaking my balls here, man. Urjan, can you just take a day off, you freaking creep? That one especially hurt because it seemed like it was a nice chance to get us back in the game right after they'd scored.
Did you say the subs yet? Or
oh yeah, sorry, the subs after I just did that whole thing too. Yeah, so Nkudu would come into the match for Gezal. Again, they should play together just for once, so that there's like a little pressure from both sides, but whatever. Mensah would leave the game for Dorukhan, which is a gosh darn mystery, if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah, I thought that was two really bad substitutions. I think the Nkudu-Laren combo is really bad. Because I don't think Nkudu can really play without a second winger to open up space for him.
It seems like the obvious move every time is like get a second winger out there so you can get pressure from both sides, and instead he always takes out the one actual winger we have for the other. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I've been critical of Sergen subs throughout, even though we've had results go our way, and this was in the second one, the Dorukhan for Mensah sub is the one that really was mysterious. I thought Mensah had a really solid first half, to be honest. Just bringing the ball up and his passing wasn't even as bad as it typically is. But if you need to take him out, which is fine, you make your call on that regard. Why bring on someone defensive when you're down a goal?
Yeah.
That was mysterious, and especially considering we're all waiting for the Ljajic sub, considering what he did for us last week. But so then that chance would occur that I mentioned, the Nkudu one. And then Adem Ljajic comes on for Atiba in the 76th minute. Any thoughts on that sub?
I think if this order was wrong, you should have. If you're going to take out Mensah, obviously Ljajic should have came on right away.
Exactly.
And I think Dorukhan coming on wasn't necessarily I understood it, but Mensah was actually a good offensive threat, and Atiba was having one of his off games. But we left him on longer for when he was struggling to be an offensive threat when we needed to score. So that just seemed rather backwards to me. But
yeah, and then 77th minute, a red card for the man who should not have probably come into the match, as both of us seem to agree. Dorukhan took us with the dumbest tackle of the season, all cleats. It was much like the one that dude did on Montero's face last.
Giagne, yeah. Except he caught him in the hip.
It was a little less nasty.
Yeah. I mean, you could see there was stud marks raking down the guy's thigh. It was definitely a red card. Really no need for the challenge. It was
just absolute
useless.
Stupidity. Let's be honest. It was absolute garbage. And what's worse is it gets the conspiracy theories pumping. Most people are assuming that Dorukhan's going to sign with Fener, and so he gave them first place with that move right there, pretty much. The conspiracy theorists get some fodder there. Not to mention, I thought a weird moment was right after he got the red card was Uğurcan came up and gave him a little kiss on the head. It was a little shouldn't you be mad that he just kind of injured your player, and instead it's thank you for helping me.
They are national team teammates, so I'm guessing that's what it was. But yeah, he just cleated this man. So.
Teammate, yeah, you'd think he'd be more angry than but on the other hand, there's probably a very clear recognition that he just won the game for his team. Any other comments there?
No, it's just, I want to mention we had Ozhan and Hasic on the bench if we needed goals, along with Ljajic, and then for some reason we chose Dorukhan, and then I guess he was coming in to add some energy and steel, and he just certainly put his steel into the opponent's midsection. So that was something else. I didn't really know what else to say about it.
No, it was the worst part, I suppose, is that I mentioned that we played really solid in that first half and didn't deserve the 1-1. And then the second half we came out just flat, honestly. That's when we really started playing down to our opponent, if you will. And so you'd think that we'd try to get more aggressive and take control of the match and be more attacking, and instead we go defensive and kind of stay flat-footed for the most part and keeping the ball more back in our side of the pitch. So, I didn't like any of the tactics and the logic, if you will. Anyway, there wouldn't be much action for a while. Some subs by Trabzon. A yellow card for Lewis Baker. A yellow card for Adem Ljajic. I guess let's talk about the big moment in the 87th minute.
Yeah. We created one chance after the red card, and it was quite a big one. Rosier put in this low cross, but it deflects up into the air, and Joseph tries to jump up for it. Goes over his head, but it falls to Abubakar. Close range, diving header, and he just kind of puts it in the middle of the goal when he had the whole corner open, which was kind of frustrating. And then the rebound falls to Lair, and he double whiffs it with his left foot.
No. The first one he hits in his block, and then the second
Oh,
one.
okay. The second one, he just whiffs it.
He just like and what's like we were talking about this pre-match or pre-episode rather. Just that it was a tough shot. I think like it's a rebound with his off foot, and he's already a very technically limited type of dude if you think about it. So like the result isn't a real shot, but it just looked so bush league the way he like fluffed it wide and like it was just fluttered off. Not endangering, and it was such an important moment too for us. But so Abu will get the majority of the blame on that for the first shot. But I don't think anyone's to really blame. I think Uğurcan makes a fantastic save again, and then Laren's first attempt is actually blocked by the defender fairly well. Maybe that's your boy Edgar even, and then. That last thing is just a bad situation made to look worse through poor technical ability. But so that's how it would end in the 96th minute of extra, or in the 6th minute of extra time. In the 96th minute of play, the whistle would be blown. Trabzon wins 1-2 on the road. A terrible loss for Beşiktaş, I think we can say. I guess before we do any further analysis, Evran, why don't we talk stats, and you can, your statistics can kind of add to what we have to say about any individual performances.
We had 64% possession, 22 total shots. For those shots, we had our XG was 2. That's our expected goals according to Rosie Sports. Trabzon's expected goals was 1.2.
So we should have won this match. Freaking A, man.
Yeah. Uğurcan made, let me get the exact, he made 7 saves.
It's like a FIFA number. Someone in the group chat said that, and it's true. It's just ridiculous. And like 5 of them were really solid saves. 3 of them were like extra human. It sucked. Damn it.
It was... If you want to talk individual stats...
Well, first let's talk about how Beşiktaş had 22 shots to their 16. And possession, we dominated, right? 65%?
Yeah, 64%. I don't think anyone on Beşiktaş had an amazing game. I guess off the bench, and Sakala had a pretty good game considering everyone usually was like, oh man, he's coming on. He got an assist. He won 6 out of 8 duels. None of the goals were his fault this time.
Yeah, the goal came out of the other flank.
So he actually had statistically a quite good game, which obviously we don't want Ridvan to get hurt, but that was good.
Yeah, and it's it's good that Ridvan's not out for a long time, and B, it's good to know that we for anyone who complained about Sakala, we have a good player. Coming in, you shouldn't complain too much. I thought he looked pretty solid. He had one sort of positional error I noticed, where he wasn't playing wide enough to defend properly. But besides that, he was solid. Yeah.
And then Laren had a good game outside of the finishing. 3 chances created, 8 out of 11 duels won. 90% pass accuracy. He was pretty good. He was active, but at the end of the day, he missed 2 big chances. On a total of 5 shots. So usually we expect him to score 1 and play kind of bad, but instead he played pretty good and missed all of his chances.
Yeah, and credit to Uğurcan again, right? Like that freaking guy. Any other performances tonight? How was Montero?
Montero, obviously he got the own goal. It was an okay game. He won 4 out of 9 duels, which isn't great. But to be honest, no one on the back line really had a great game. Rosier, I think this is the first time he really struggled to defend a player. Joseph had probably his worst statistical game. He lost 11 out of 14 duels. Usually he wins 90%. This time he lost almost 80% of his duels, and he was just... Both of them are getting chopped up by Nawakayem.
Damn.
But
that's a bummer.
Rosier almost got an assist here and there, so I think going forward he's still pretty good. But clearly someone showed that they were one of the best players in the league against us today, unfortunately, or yesterday or 2 days ago. But
yeah, it'd be nice if we had a Nwakayeme, huh?
Yeah.
But we don't. And I mean, Gazal actually had a fairly decent game of passing as well, especially given that free kick ended up being his. So I guess we can't complain too much.
Yeah, I think Gazal wasn't quite on his. Like, I think there was a couple times where he cut in to do his typical cross and he messed it up.
Yeah, or he even hesitated a few times and pulled it back out.
So
but that was
when he doesn't have that, he's not as effective.
Yeah.
And that's why, we didn't have a player like Tere off the bench, which I think would have been a huge use because he has more than just that. He can do the same thing of cut in as we saw, but he's a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, a little bit better off the dribble, can shoot. He can actually shoot, because Gazal can't shoot.
Well, and especially off the bench, you can get that little burst of energy.
And Nkoudou doesn't, as a lone winger, he doesn't have that crossing ability to, just cut in and whip in a good cross. He likes to, do these quick little interplays, and he had that one shot, but other than that, it didn't really offer any impact.
I still think that there's honestly, I don't think. There's really very little doubt in my mind that Nkoudou and Gazal kind of need to be playing together to maximize both of their abilities, because I think
Gazal can play without him, but I don't think Nkoudou can play without another winger.
Well, Gazal can play without him because actually Laren's ability on the far post is fairly useful. But if he played as a second striker, for example, and the other two wings, that's asking a lot. But whatever, forget Laren just for a moment. I genuinely think that the energy that a defense has to put into making sure that Nkoudou can't speed by them, which means waiting a little bit, having someone behind the main guy opposing him so that if he gets around him, they can still defend. That gives more space for Gazal to be doing something on the other flank. And so I think when you have someone like Abu who's so good in the air as well, you probably don't even necessarily need Laren.
Yeah, personally to me, I thought Hasic was going to... I not thought he was, but I thought it would have been better when Laic came on to sub them both on, so that Nkoudou, we could switch it up and have two wingers. But I think one of Nkoudou's best games was against Kayseri, and that's when Hasic came in, because Nkoudou was not 2v1'd every time, and when the team sits back on him, I'm not going to say he's completely useless, but, he doesn't... All of his tools are involved in, breaking at pace, getting a step on the man, neat interplay. But when they're all packed in the box and we need either a moment of genius or a good cross, that's where Gazal is good, and Nkoudou's never offers that.
And again, if Nkoudou is going to help, it's going to be because you have someone on the other flank taking attention from the defense and making it harder for them to focus on containing Nkoudou's speed. So all around, I think a bad day for Sergen with the subs, which is nothing new, but not enough positives going our way to sort of offset that this time. I think that's a pretty decent analysis of the match. Besides that, honestly, I don't even think we deserve the L, especially considering their own goal, right? Even everything considered, it should be 1-1. That was just Garbaggio, which I'll keep saying over and over again. I hate that own goal so much. I really do. It was such a deflating way to go into the half.
Yeah, that was one of the stupidest own goals I think I've seen.
Just terrible luck. So many bad things had to go against us.
In all my practices, watching, reffing, that's one of the dumbest I've ever seen. You're just wow.
That was so undeserved. It's trash because so many bad. There had to be so many moments going against us. So much bad luck. You know what I mean? For four things to go against us in that succession, so that goal would be scored like that. Just a dang shame. We did not deserve this L. And I guess now, quickly, who's your man of the match?
It's hard, because I think Abubakar misses that chance, and he wasn't amazing the whole game. Outside of his goal, Laren was pretty good, but again, he missed his chances. So I'm going to give it to Insakala just because I think he contributed an assist and he did all of his work
Yeah.
And
And he played the full
you know,
90 too.
yeah, he played like
Pretty much. Minus 10 minutes.
75 minutes ish or plus stoppage time. It's about 80 minutes he played. So I'll give it to Nsakala. Probably I think that's the only time he'll get it this season. But
I think we may have given him one before actually.
maybe.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I have to pick someone else just for posterity here, so I'll go. I don't even know, man. I really don't even know. Shoot, I really don't know. I mean, I mentioned Mensah was pretty good in that first half, and we were in a half that we were solid.
And I thought Erson and Mensah were both pretty good. Erson conceded goals that were just kind of like, what the hell? He made his one big save, and I thought Mensah offered more going forward than he often did in games where I was annoyed with him.
Yeah. He had a solid,
He's not really man of the match,
No, I mean, it's more just like he didn't do anything wrong. Everybody else did something kind of actively wrong. But so yeah, let's leave it at that. It's sort of inconclusive, but there you have it. Let's talk standings, because this week we have some news, unfortunately. So going into that match, we had bad news vis-a-vis Fener winning.
Yeah, Fener got lost on XG to Rize. They
Played like
also
crap.
they played like garbage. Rize scored a goal that was dubiously ruled out. They scored off a free kick that hit the post and then hit the goalie in the back and went in. Got their lucky win. So they moved ahead of us by a point. After the Rize game, and Gala also won with dubious circumstances a little bit. I think their coach got extra mad, and they also beat Gala on XG, but
yeah, so
they were more clinical, and Muslera stood on his head, so they beat Antep 2-1. So both of them moved ahead of us because we lost.
They got Onyekuru
point and
to
2
sort of
points.
save them so far this year. Well, and so then, they didn't pass us then. But then what's happened here is that they've already played their match day 22 matches, right?
Yeah,
And we're
so
still
now
on 21. So yeah, you want to talk about what happened today for Fener?
Yeah, so both Fener and Gala played again today. Well, we play tomorrow, so Fener got. If we thought they got lucky last time, they really dialed it up this time against Hatay. They managed to score off like a rebound where Chiam was actually looking at the ball. Like he did a diving header, the goalie saved, and as he was sliding, the ball hit him again in the head and went in. And then Hatay absolutely dominates like the rest of the 90 minutes. Hatay actually had 64% possession against Fenerbahce. I mean, they must have missed like 4 one-on-ones. A shot cleared off the line.
Pupenza, who had such a fantastic year. Just poop.
Yeah, Pupenza was Pupenza. Someone said it in the chat. He was missing chances left and the right. And then Fener goes forward once in the second half, and there's like an own goal. And then Pupenza ends up scoring a nice goal. But Fener wins off 2 accidental goals. So now they're still in first place, and Gala beats Başak 3-0. Başak missed a penalty, unsurprisingly. So Gala moves ahead of us by a point. Fener is ahead of us by 4 points, and we have an extra game to play. So
yeah. So being 4 points down on Fener, I think last time we both, like 2 weeks ago, we were in first place. What happened? But so obviously the big news is that tomorrow we are playing Antalyaspor. That's an 11 a.m. match. We're back to normal time. On the road, however, although Antalyaspor has probably got better weather than Istanbul this time of year anyhow, so who knows. Without fans, it's probably a nice little excursion. That said, I mean, it's probably worth noting that Antalyaspor is coming into this match on really good form. Do you want to say a word about that, Evran?
Yeah, I mean, they played, let me count this, 7 games in January, including 1 cup game, and they haven't lost. However,
they've drawn Galatasaray, beaten
Trabzon,
Fatih
and
Karagümrük. They've beaten Göztepe, beaten Bursa, but they're a league down. They've drawn Trabzon, drawn Konya, so that's good for us maybe. In all of their wins, they've won by a goal. They've squeaked them out, so I don't think we have to
And this was
play
that run
afraid?
came right after they lost to Hatay 6-0. Interestingly
seven?
enough.
Oh,
No, it was 6.
Yeah.
So I mean, they haven't been actually playing very well, but they've been
They've
more
been getting
defensive. And I think they decided, Ersun was like, okay, instead of attacking and getting cooked, we're gonna defend and try to counter.
I mean, you can kind of say it's the
Worked for
same
them
thing
so
that
far.
it was the same for Trabzon though in a way, right? Under Avci.
And you could say Fenerbahce too, because they play that way also. So.
But they haven't even deserved their wins, man.
It's just garbage.
Yeah, so I expect
I'm so
us
mad
to
about
see
Fener.
Antalya with 30% possession. Maybe even less, you never know. They have a couple good players. Nuri Şahin's in midfield. They have my boy Gökten, his Bayraktar on the wing.
Is he your boy? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
I pushed for
Freddie.
him to
I remember
join.
Freddie was crazy annoying against us. So we have some things to watch out for. Rude Beaufin played really well in our last match, I recall. Oh yeah, we got to beat these guys though. There's no question about it. Just to be within range of Fener,
Yeah,
which is
if we
so
win,
annoying.
then we'll be within 1 point of Fener. So, no worries with the derby is next Gala Fener game. So someone's got to drop points.
That's right. No, I mean I'm honestly, obviously, more afraid of Fener just given all the hubbub about all these crazy moves they've made. Real quick, we'll just mention, right, that they got Kahveci, they've gotten
They spent
Mesut Özil.
more money on it. Irfan Can, who knows where they got it. So I think they spent about 10 million in transfers fees for Shalai and Irfan Can, and then spent reportedly very little on Özil somehow. But we know how much they spent in reality. So they probably spent upwards of 20-something million this winter.
It's so illegal. It's so corrupt. It's just garbage. More garbage. Garbage is the theme word today. But so we do have some news as far as transfers coming our way, huh? I didn't mention anything. We've talked about Bilal Ceylan briefly. That's official. But some other news?
We paid 380K for Bilal Ceylan. So
what's the
big
big
money
news,
transfer.
Evran?
we finally got our backup striker. Wasn't Hulk. Hulk signed for Atletico Mineiro in Brazil, so we ended up loaning in Cenk Tosun for the rest of the season.
There it is. Cenk.
So I believe he's quarantining, so he will not be in the Antalya game. But Bilal should be available for selection, but I doubt he'll play.
And let's talk a little shadiness here. So he has to quarantine, Cenk, supposedly because he's coming from England, and yet someone who played for Fener today did not have to quarantine?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with... Yeah, they signed an English winger, Osai Samuel, and unless he had some he self-quarantined in England, I don't know what this... But yeah, for some reason he didn't have to quarantine, but both Özil and Cenk Tosun had to quarantine. So we'll see what's up with that.
I think it's trash. As always. Again, the special word of the day is garbage. This is all garbage.
We also have departing players that we could mention.
There you go.
Yeah, so all on deadline day actually. Lenz, Boyd, Guven were loaned out to so Sivas got Boyd, Karagümrük got Lenz, and then Guven went to Serie B in Italy with Lecce. We terminated EC Montemiro.
Yeah.
And then Dougie Doug said, "I'm not leaving." Like Wolf of Wall Street.
Dougie Fresh is insistent on staying with Beşiktaş. It's kind of weird to me. I don't get it. I don't know why he wouldn't want to play, but maybe that injury, maybe there's no coming back from it and he knows it, and so this is his last paycheck. Whatever it is, it's unfortunate. We're paying 2/3 of Jermaine Lenz's salary, and he's going to be playing for Fatih Karagümrük, as you mentioned. I don't know. We bought out EC Montmilan. I supposedly he's going to join Kansas City here in the U.S. We'll see about that. The one I really didn't get was Tyler Boyd going to Sivas, because the whole year we lined it up supposedly for him to come back, and then even freed up. It seems like we've got the spots.
All the rumors said Hasic will go out on loan, Boyd will stay. as far as I know, Sivas is paying his salary and some money, so I guess they wanted him.
There you go. That makes more sense. Because I was going to say, like, we have enough slots to keep Hasic and Boyd theoretically now with the whole
but Sergen refuses to play Hasic, so you know.
So yeah, even that decision's a bit weird. Although this suggests maybe you're being too hard on him. Maybe he does see something in the kid.
Maybe he'll actually. I mean, he just didn't give him a single chance after he scored 2 goals. So.
Yeah, back to back. No, yeah, I don't get it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't get it. The man makes some weird choices in that regard. But
you scored a nice goal, never play again.
Yeah, you should see the bench for a few weeks. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. But obviously, the great news is that we're gonna have Cenk Tosun as a bit of insurance, goal scoring wise. A young right back is certainly welcome, especially since we only really need a sub. With Rosier,
especially when he doesn't want to sub out Laren because he doesn't want to put another winger on. We have Cenk now, so he doesn't have to make that decision.
Yeah, he can still do that, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it'll be interesting to see how he balances that. If Laren loses playing time, that's the logical, I think, extension there. But we'll see. Obviously, if Laren keeps scoring goals and whatnot, it's gonna be harder. He has slowed down, should be noted. But obviously, if he starts scoring again, then it will complicate things, and it'll be a welcome problem. I think we can all agree. Any goals are welcome. So yeah, you have any parting words for these folks, Evran?
Big game tomorrow. Also, I want to mention we've said this is going to be, one of my main messages. Mr. Tony Nawakayama came from the Israeli league for 1.1 million euros. Previously played in the Romanian first and second league. So I don't want to hear any of this big name transfers are more important. Because I've seen we played a lot against a lot of big names and none of them have done anything close to what Mr. Nawakayama did to our players.
So yeah, I think we've won that war, though. The battles and the war, if you will.
He's a good player. The league doesn't matter. And that's
so we should have Hamza Berry. Is what everyone's saying is that we should have Hamza Berry right now. No, I'm kidding. Another note here is that we may not hear from Evran for a minute. Maybe you'll give us some stat flashes.
Maybe, yeah. That sounds.
Yeah, we can maybe do that.
Right.
But so Evran's headed across seas. He might be playing in Turkey for a professional side. Cross your fingers for the young lad. Good luck, man. But so, folks, you're going to be stuck with me for a little while. I'll see about guest hosts or anything like that. But safe travels, young man.
Hey, get old man Khan on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see how he. I don't know what they're doing over there at Footy Ala Turca. They've sort of slowed down, it seems like, but I don't know. One nice thing about going solo is I'm very flexible time-wise. I can just record
like 2
right after matches, even. Yeah, 2 a.m. That's my style. But yeah, anyhow, obviously follow us on Facebook. What am I talking about? Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We're not even on Facebook. Find all the info underneath the episode. Donate to our boys down in Accra, in Ghana. Stay tuned. Obviously, we'll be back post-match against Antalya, or I certainly will. Maybe a little stat flash from our boy here. And of course, go Beşiktaş! Peace out, everyone. And don't be too sad about that loss. We can still win this thing. Don't give up. Don't you give up on me! Alright, we did it, everyone.
Yeah, you probably need that fast. That's probably shipping it with.
Beşiktaş International hopes you enjoyed this program.